Hey guys, Agent Racing here, back today with another video. So 2 years ago, I bought myself a new car. Before I had a 1.2 Fiesta. It was great, don't get me wrong, first car. But then I went and bought this. This is my 2004 Gen 7 Toyota Celica. The 140 horsepower, not the 190 Yamaha tuned one. And for the last 2 years, this has been my only car, my daily driver, and I have loved every second of it. But I wanted to make a video for you guys, something a little bit different to the sim content that I normally put out. Just a little bit of a talky, drivey video, going through what's it been like to own this Toyota Celica, great things, drawbacks, and maybe should you buy one for a daily driver if you're young, like me, 20 years old, looking to get into the sports car market but can't quite afford the insurance on a proper sports car, so you go for a fake one like this. So basically, to run down before we do head out driving, what have I done to this car over the last couple of years? I bought it, it was practically stock, fairly low mileage, about 80,000, and so far I have put a set of JR11 Japanese racing wheels on it, which I think really suit the colour, with the white and the blue. I've put a couple of other stickers and added extras you can see in the back window there, a nice sun strip, and the next big upgrade was of course the stainless catback system from Red Hill Classics. I've got plans to get the bigger spoiler coming soon, but haven't quite gotten around to buying that yet. And other than that, not really done much else. Looking at maybe doing some suspension upgrades in the future. But for now, this is basically where it is at the moment, 2 years down the line. But what I'm going to do now, fire up the old car, and you might be able to hear this. I don't know how well this is going to come out, but the exhaust does sound very sweet. So what's it been like to live with this car for the last 2 years? Well, pretty good actually. As an everyday car, it's comfortable, the seats are great, the suspension is firm enough that when you hit the corners it's not wobbling everywhere, but it's soft enough that you can enjoy British roads, which are notoriously bumpy, and not be shaken to bits everywhere you go. The power is all right. I mean, it's 140 brake, I think about 110 Newton meters of torque from that naturally aspirated 1.8 VVT engine, which is a great little engine, the 1ZZ. And it's enough to get you where you're going at a decent enough pace. It accelerates pretty well. The gearing is very short, so you do find yourself sitting at about 3,500 on the motorway at 70 miles an hour. But that does mean the acceleration is very, very nice. Just pulls in every gear. Practicality wise, it's obviously it's a two-seat coupe, it's a four-seat two-door coupe. If you want to sit in the back, you can't have legs and you can't have a head. If you want to sit in the front, you just can't have a head. It's not the best car if you're tall. Luckily I'm not. The boot is easily big enough, probably bigger than most family hatchbacks, to be fair. Once you fold the back seats down, it extends really far into the car, so you don't have to worry about boot space. That's not too much of an issue. Reliability wise, I mean, I've put about 10,000 miles on the car. I don't do that much of a commute, so that's not too much of a problem. But I've put about 10,000 miles on the car, and touch wood, I haven't had any problems. I haven't had to worry about anything breaking down, nothing's really broken on it. They are a bit prone to rusting on the seals. I mean, it's a Japanese car after all, so that is a thing. Oh, there's a big flood on the road here. I'll mess all my wheels up, lovely. So yeah, you do have to worry about rust a little bit, the underside in the seals, but as long as you keep them treated and keep the car clean of salt, I live on the coast, so that's quite impossible really, then you shouldn't have too much of a problem. It's not the best car on fuel, I can't lie, and I don't drive it the most economically, I can't lie about that either, but it's got about a 50 litre fuel tank, and that'll last you maybe 250 to 300 miles, depending on how you drive it. Tax is also fairly expensive at about I think it was £282 for the year for tax, which is more than most cars of this engine size, but all in all, the cost to run this car is not that much, and they're going up in price to buy. I paid just over £2,000 for this car a couple of years ago, and I'm struggling to find some for the same sort of price 2 years later. It's getting pretty pricey for to be honest, all desirable cars like this. I mean, you're looking for a 2Z version, you're talking £4 grand, if not upwards. But people are cottoning on to the less desirable cars, and that's just making these go up in price even more. So I'm just about to come up to a national speed limit, so let's drop it down to second gear. We're doing 25 miles an hour. Oh, the pedal position in this car is just perfect. The gearbox is so crisp, and the throw is so short. Don't know why that was so hard for me to say. The throw is so short and just so responsive. It just goes into gear, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. The pedals are in a great place to heel toe down the gears, even if you've got big feet like me. And then when you do give it some beans, I don't want to give it too much beans, it's very bumpy, it just picks up and it just goes. Oh, this car is just such a joy to drive. It puts a smile on your face every time I get in it, even if you're just driving 10-15 minutes to get to work. It just makes you smile. It makes you just want to take it out and drive it everywhere. All going to gear. There we go. Oh, just heel towing is an absolute pleasure. It's such a raw manual experience. No traction control, front wheel drive of course, which does mean that no traction control is not too much of an issue till it rains and then you want to actually go somewhere and then you can't really. Back up to the flooded bit of road. Hello Volvo. Don't want to go through the massive puddle. But just driving this car is just a joyous experience. It's light, it weighs just over 1,000 kilos, which is pretty damn good for a car, for a more modern car, 2004 of course. You can just chuck it into corners and you just know it'll stick. I mean, you do get a bit of understeer, it's front wheel drive, you get a bit of torque steer, but there isn't too much power to really have to worry about that much, that torque steer much. But the suspension could probably do with being a bit firmer. It does roll a bit in the corners when you really push it. But when you just come up to a corner and the pedals are in the right place and you just heel toe down the gears, down to third, throw it in, not pushing it hardly much here. It's a public road. On the brakes, turn it in and just let the car pull away on the exit. I love this car so much. It just puts a smile on your face every time you get in it, every time you drive to work. And as a cruiser, as a daily driver, it's not too bad. I mean, it's not the most comfortable car. There are some drawbacks to this car. Obviously, I have already mentioned the fuel economy is not the best. It's definitely not the most comfortable car. You definitely wouldn't want to go over a pothole in this thing. It rattles, it's not the quietest inside. A couple of little annoying things like the seat, when you push the seat forwards and to get in the back, it doesn't go back in the same place. Your driving position changes if you want to let someone in the back, which isn't a problem if you don't have friends, but if you do have friends, then but then all the drawbacks, you just forget about all of them when you come up to a little bit of a windy road. And you just want to take it through the corners. This thing just reacts so well. Steering is just so responsive, the throttle's so responsive. If you're looking at getting into the sports car market as a younger driver, and you don't want something normal like a hot hatchback, a Golf GTI, anything like that, then a Toyota Celica is the answer for you, to be honest. It's why I picked it. They look great, they drive great, they sound great with a stainless steel exhaust on like I've got. Super reliable, cheap to run. Yeah, basically, very good car indeed. But yes, there we are, guys. That is my little 2 years on review of the car, and honestly, if you're questioning buying one, I wouldn't hesitate for a second. This car is amazing. Yeah, I love this car. I absolutely love this car, and I've been thinking about cars I would replace it with, and I honestly can't think of any. There's nothing that can just give me the excitement of driving a fairly low-powered car in today's world, 140 brake, and just taking it for a drive, and you're low down, you feel in the car, the cockpit is just molded around you. Yeah. And as an everyday car, it's comfortable, it's quietish until you put a big exhaust on it. Yeah. I love this car. I really do. I really do. Thought I'd treat you to a pull with the exhaust. So there we are, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please leave a like. Subscribe if you want to as well. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more of this real life business as well. But also for me to say, thank you. Subscribe, like, do all that good stuff. Normal sim content coming soon, don't you worry. Yeah. I love this car. I really do. See you later, guys.